Hello friends, once again welcome back to Sneeze Sky. So today we are going to solve the LeetCode problem 1975 maximum metric sum. So it's a medium level problem. It may seem very difficult or it might be a bit confusing for you, but once you understand the approach, it's a very simple problem. So we'll be solving this. So let's get to understand the problem statement first. So let's read the problem statement. Maximum metric sum. You are given an n cross n integer matrix. You can do the following operation any number of times. Choose any two adjacent elements of the matrix and multiply each of them by -1. Two elements are considered adjacent if and only if they share the border. Your goal is to maximize the summation of the matrix elements and return the maximum sum of the matrix using operation mentioned above. So question is very simple and straightforward. You will always be given an n cross n matrix, which means that it will be either 2 by 2, it will be 3 by 3, or it will be 4 by 4. So whatever is the value of n, it will be same, right? So it's always a square that you get with equal number of rows and columns. So that is one point. And then we are choose any two adjacent element of the matrix and multiply each of them. So what is possible is that we can take any two adjacent element, like let's say I can take these two and multiply -1. Like let's say if I am taking these two, then it will be -1 and 1. So after the matrix multiplication, I'll be getting as 1 and -1. But we know that if I multiply this like this, it will both are same, right? When I am multiplying, so it's a pure let's say it's a pure intuition. So if I multiply 2 minus 1, let's say instead of this, if I was multiplying a negative numbers, let's say I was multiplying them. So in this case, the matrix I'll be getting is 1 and 1. So this is a positive value, right? So that's what we want. So now let's understand the questions a bit better using the examples, okay? Okay. So we will learn using some examples. So this is a 2 cross 2 matrix, okay? So I know that my negative numbers are diagonally opposite. So what observation I can make? Like the observation that I should make is, like, there are two negative numbers, and if I make them positive, then I'll be getting a complete matrix as positive, right? So what I'll be doing, so first of all, I'll be multiplying like 1 and -1. So this portion of the matrix I'm multiplying. So I'll get what? After multiplying -1 to both of them, I'll get the new matrix as -1 1 -1 1. So now these two negative numbers are adjacent, right? These two negative numbers are adjacent. So for these two negative numbers, I will multiply again using -1. So the final matrix that I'll be getting is what? The final matrix that I'll be getting is complete 1, right? Okay. So this is how like a 2 cross 2 matrix works. Now let us understand using a 3 cross 3 matrix. So now we will look at the examples of few other metrics. So this is a 3 cross 3 matrix that we are having, okay? So here I need to multiply few of the elements with a -1. I have to multiply with -1, but I can decide which number I can multiply and how many times I can multiply, that I can decide. So initially I thought, okay, I will multiply these two. I will multiply. So if I multiply these two adjacent element using -1, what will be my matrix be like? My matrix will be like 1 2 3 1 2 -3 1 2 3. So what will be the sum of this matrix? At this point the sum will be, this row will be 6, this row will be 0, this row will be 6. So the sum will be 12. Okay, so here 6 plus 0 plus 6, 12 will be our answer. But let's see, if in a case if this 1 was negative and this 3 was positive, what will be the sum? In this case the sum will be entirely different. We will be having 18 is the entire sum, matrix sum, and -1. So there's 1 into 2. Okay, 18 minus 2 16. Like how it is 16? Okay, the entire sum, the entire array contains 1, right? So we have to remove the existence of 1, and then we have to entirely remove 1. Okay, so that's why it's like, I'll explain it. 6 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6, this is 18, right? So first of all, this is a negative number, so in that case that will not be included, right? If this element I am removing, in that case the sum will be what? 17, right? And from that 17, in that case the sum will be 17. From the sum 17 I am minusing 1, so it will be 16. Okay, so that's how it works. So whatever matrix we are having, the lowest absolute value must be the negative one, which I have to delete. Okay, and coming on to, let's see an example of a 4 by 4 matrix, how it will be different. So in case of 4 by 4 matrix, let's say this is also -6. Okay, so initially I'll multiply these two, then here what will be the value I'll be getting? So if I multiply these two, then I'll get +4 and -7. And again if I multiply, initially I multiply these two and I got +4 and -7. Now I multiply these two and I get two positive values, +7 and +6. Okay, now what I will do, now I will multiply these two. Okay, when I multiply these two, what I will get? I'll get +3 and -7. Then again I multiply these two. Now what I will get? Then I'll get +7 and -6. And now I multiply these two, and then what I will get? I'll get +6 and +1. So as you could see in this matrix, how many negative numbers were there? How many negative numbers were there? 1 2 3 4. So it was a positive, or it was a even number. So since this was an even number, our matrix, we have to return the sum. We just return the sum of the matrix. But here in this case, when there is odd number of a negative element, in that case we have to return sum -2 into smallest absolute value. Okay, into smallest absolute value. So this is what we have to do. So I hope the two matrix intuition is clear. You could try to solve. You could think for some time if you get some approach. So I'll just explain it, okay? So here the sum of matrix is the sum of absolute values, right? Like absolute of 1 plus absolute of 2 plus absolute of 3 plus absolute of -1 plus absolute of -2 plus absolute of -3 plus absolute of 1, absolute of 2 and absolute of 3. Okay, so this will give us a answer like 1 plus 2 plus 3, 2 plus 3, 2 plus 3. So the total sum will be 6 plus 6 plus 6, that is 18. So from this, so in this case, this is the sum of the array anyways. This is the sum of the array. So we know this is the sum. So we know here, we also know that this matrix is having odd number of, we are here having odd number of, this matrix is having odd number of negatives. So in that case, we have to remove that smallest odd number, smallest negative number we have to remove. So here the smallest is 1. So from the answer, from this matrix sum, what will be from this? So in this case of odd negative numbers, we have to reduce the 2 times the smallest number. Okay, so this will be your answer, like it's 18 minus 2 into 1 into -1, that is 18 minus 2, 16. So this is same for all the metrics, and the only difference is if it is if there are even number of negatives, in that case return sum of matrix. This is the only difference. Now you can try solving this problem. So we will dive into the coding part. So I have coded this problem using Python, so you could choose your own favorite programming language in order to solve it. So what I have did here, so here I have initialized the row, like obviously it is n cross n, so that's why I have just taken the row. Then to calculate the minimum value of the matrix, so whichever matrix is given, I need to find the minimum value. So that's why I am having a int max. So the maximum value, so it will always be the highest value, and from this I'll be getting this minimum value. And then also I'm tracking the count of negative numbers, and then I'm also taking the sum of the entire matrix, the absolute sum of the entire matrix. Okay, so I'm having 2 for loop. So inside this I'm checking if any of this value is negative. So if any of these values inside the matrix is negative, then I'm calculating my count. And also I'm also checking which is the minimum absolute value. So that's why I'm taking the absolute of the matrix values, and I'm storing it my current minimum. And then I'm also parallelly I'm also adding the entire matrix to the sum variable. And then at the end of this execution of this 2 nested for loops, I'll be exiting, and I'll be checking, I'm doing a modulo of 2 in order to see if it is a negative or positive, and if it is a odd number of so here I'm doing the modulo in order to see if it is an odd number of negative numbers or even number of negative numbers. So if it is odd number, in that case I'll be reducing 2 times the current minimum from the maximum sum, and if that is not the case, in that case I'll be returning the sum, since it's a positive matrix, if even number of negative numbers. So I hope the problem is now clear to everyone. So please try to solve it on your own. Thank you so much. So we will meet in the next video. So the topics that is used to solve this is array, greedy, matrix. So obviously we have used all the three. So here we have used greedy algorithm. So that's all. Try to solve more problems of this kind in order to become more proficient in it. Thank you so much for once again watching. Till next time, bye bye.